Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to Real Reviews, Real Reactions with Shaw, your auntie of reactions. Ooh, thank you for subscribing to my channel. Thank you for coming here for a little kiki, a little fun, and so much more. My channel is growing, and thank y'all. Thank y'all so much for coming by and listening to my little piece of opinion on movies, posts, whatever that's celebrity related. That's what I'm here to talk about and give my reaction and my review. And today you are here with me to talk about the Underdoggs. Woof woof bow wow. Created by Mr. Snoop Dogg. Birth name was Calvin Brodus Jr., born same year as I, 1971. We both will be 53 this year. I'll be 53 in May. He'll be 53 in October. Last night, me and my boo bear, that's what I call my honey, decided to, sit down, and I made him some spaghetti and to watch, support the idea of Underdogs, because I saw a review by Miss Patty Jackson, who I love, who said that it's a good movie, but the kids just cuss too much. It's just too much cussing. Well, honey, I love a good cussing. I ain't even gonna lie. I loves me a good cussing. And so I was curious. It made me curious. We all know that Snoop Dogg is a connoisseur of the earthly grass. We know that. And he's always been unapologetically himself ever since he came on the scene as a rapper. And now he's been dabbling a little bit into acting, which I can appreciate the brother, because I'm an actress, just in case you didn't know. Theater, not film. And so I appreciate his creativity, and I appreciate his community efforts. He created this football team years ago, and me and Boo Bear did a little bit of study, and then found out that, well, on the film it also states that is it 5 or 25? One of them, he's had some young men that have that participated, if I could say the right word, that participated in his football program, and they also been drafted to the NFL. So he had a passion for the NFL and to try to do things to help keep the young kids out of trouble, especially in Long Beach? No, LCB, wherever that is. Yeah, Long Beach, LBC. Long Beach, California. So I was looking forward to the film just to see how he came up with the concept and everything. So for those of you who haven't seen it, go ahead and watch it. It's really, I will say, to me, it's a funny film, but it has its issues now. Be ready. Can't watch it with your children around, or nieces and nephews and stuff, because their ears is going to be burning. They're going to learn a whole new set of languages if you decide to let them watch this with you. So the concept is about this football player who's just a hellion since he was a young one. He always thought about, it's all about me. The team is me. We only won because of me. And as a result of it, he was very arrogant. He made himself feel like he was bigger and grander than anybody else. And it came to a halt when he got in so much trouble that he had to do community service. Now, I'm going to tell you a list of stars that are in it. We have Candy Burris. Yes, she's in it, from Real Housewives of Atlanta. And everything else under the world. Remember, Candy said she worldwide. Of course, Mr. Calvin, a.k.a. Snoop Dogg. Miss Tika Sumpter. She's actually in the film as a love interest. Mr. Mike Epps, the comedian himself. Mike, when are y'all going to come out with that Richard Pryor movie? Y'all need to hurry up. Who else? Oh, the legend, what's his name? He's a Hispanic. George Lopez. He was in it. I was so happy to see him. And a few other faces that I've seen in passing. One of the men, he played in Harold and Kumar. I can't think of his name. But anyway, if you see it, you'll find out who he is. So the stars, the young people who played in, it's way too much to name. They were really talented young people. Very talented. So getting back to the premise of the film, this rejected football player, too rich for his own blood, got into some trouble and had to do community service. So he had to pick up dog poop or dog shit as a result of his community service. So while he was picking up dog poop, he sees this group of kids who are trying to practice, but the coach decided he didn't want to show up. So he runs into one of the mothers of one of the teammates, and it was a love interest. She was a cheerleader when he was in high school, and he was a star football player, and they fell in love. So they eventually had, went their separate ways. So they ran back into each other, which is cool. That's fine. And when I tell you, I don't know how much money these parents were paid so their kids can cuss the way they cussed in this film. Every curse word that you can think of is except for let me pretty this word up. Kitty cat. Think of another wonderful word that rhymes with Dusset. Deuce. They said, when I tell you, them kids said every curse word that you can think of that's known to mankind. And like my Boo Bear, he has a son. He has a young son. He's 14. And he said, if I heard that boy cussing like that, I will yoke him up. My kids is grown, so I know they cuss. They respect me. They don't do it around me, but I know they cuss. I do. Yeah. But these kids, I know they had to be about. Now, one of them looked real old. We had to pause one of the scenes because that boy looked about 25. But this was a young football, Pop Warner type of football thing. I will say this, and a disclaimer at the beginning of the film. It gives a warning, and if I can remember it, I'll put it right here, so you can see what the warning says. And it's very clear that he says, F that. Y'all know these kids be cussing like that, and which they do. So there he does give a disclaimer. But God almighty, them kids was F you and kiss my, and they even talked about pricks, but put a D in the front of it. They talked about you got a little prick, and if you say something else, your prick is big. And I was like, they talking about pricks? They probably got about 2 or 3 hairs on their little balls. Them kids had to be every bit between 9 and, I ain't gonna say 16. I'm gonna say 14. Strong 14. And they did have a pretty girl. Oh, that girl was so gorgeous. She had the most beautiful red hair. They got so many women who will color their hair to get her type of red. She was gorgeous, ginger, black girl. Gorgeous. Excuse me if that offends anybody. I don't mean to call her ginger. If that's offensive, please forgive me. But the girl was gorgeous. Big curly red hair, red eyebrows. Just gorgeous. So they go through all of these semantics about not liking him. He cussing them out. Then Mike Epps is one of his homeboys from the hood. He wants to be his assistant coach, and we go through all of the comedy stuff with him bringing in 2 dogs. I mean, it was really funny. I really keyed on certain parts. Okay. Mike Epps, I'm telling you, Mike, you need to go ahead and do that Richard Pryor movie real quick. So the movie goes on. They finally decide to connect and bond and everything with the coach. But the coach Jason, we already knew this was going to be a type of different film because his name was spelled. This was the coach, which was Snoop's name. Instead of Jason, Jason, his name was spelled Jaycen. So we already knew what type of trip we was about to take with this movie and his personality. So he was rich and, always thought about himself. But in the end, the kids came together. You had some kids who were shy. You had some kids who parents didn't even know that they were on the team. You had a child who perpetrated like he was wearing all of the latest fashions all day, every day, wearing his Louis Vuitton, changing shoes, always perpetrated. But come to find out, he lived in a trailer park round the corner from the shoe store. It was good. It showed how different people from different walks of life can come together and really do great if they put their heart and mind to it. But on their uniforms in the beginning were trash. It looked like boo-boo green. It was it just didn't look right. They were all oversized, and it was just a mess. So the coach decided to give them all new uniforms. He paid about $10,000 for the uniforms, and they were noise. I think that I think that Snoop Dogg is an Omega, I believe, and so he was able to purchase them outfits, and they look cute, purple and gold, of course, for the Omega Psi Phi's, and on the backs they all had their nicknames. Now he didn't understand why the kids didn't have nicknames when he first started working with them. He didn't understand it, so he created their own. So he named one guy Titty and another guy Superstar, another person Ghost, another person Harry. I mean, it was just very much, and the way he allowed them to connect to the characters so they can really grasp the rules and the passion for the game was very unique. It makes me wonder, did he really give his kids these crazy ass nicknames? But the little boy who named nickname was Titty, he had to make sure that he understood that the football is his. And so if anybody tries to grab that from you, you can't let them take that from you. You better make sure you take it all the way to the end. And in the end he did, but in the end, again, this spoiler, he doesn't get quite in the end zone, but they won regarding their love for the game, and they were competitive, and they never thought that they would get to the championship. But as they were celebrating before they went to the championship, there was a celebration at Coach Jason's house. Of course, it was a mansion, and they was over there in the pool and everything. You got Mike Epps, who's his homeboy, sleep on the pool side. And so they see this liquor there. And when I tell you, y'all, them kids drank all that beer. I was like, what kind of movie am I watching? What kind of movie am I watching? I've never seen kids. It gives you like the movie back from the 80s. That's the feel that it gave. Because back in the 80s, a lot of those films, it was normal to see kids who were that age just cut a fool. But now you got to be different because people are very, politically, you got to be politically correct these days. Those kids drank all that beer, and the only thing they said was like, y'all gonna be in trouble. Oh, y'all parents gonna get y'all in trouble anyway. I'm like, yo, if the cops came over here, y'all asses would go to jail being the adults. It was Tika who was there, Snoop that was there, and Mike. Y'all would go to jail if there was a real life and them kids was caught drinking and drunk and shit. See, I like to cuss. Just don't like to hear from the kids though. But anyway, the movie, I had to say something about this thing because it was just, the cussing made me clutch my pearls and put my hand to my mouth, and I was like, oh my God, did he just say that? It was very uncomfortable to watch, but I liked the overall tone of it. It was funny. It had a good pace. Snoop Dogg's character, I think he overacted in some spots regarding his lines being I think he overacted being mean. He could have just like brought that back a little bit, or I don't know. It was just certain parts that I feel like he could have maybe added more to it and then took away from some of it. So the kids were great. I know that kids cuss when adults are not around, but to that extent, I don't know. That just made me feel so uncomfortable watching that. It just hearing the little voices saying, kick that ass. And these bitches ain't shit. I'm like, this little baby voice saying, then they had a chant. I can't remember the name of the chant. It was just a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot. So I personally give my review, and this was like a really quick review. I might have jumped around, skipped around, hopped around, but it ain't in order. I might give this thing maybe 3 frames, 3 specs. I can't give it 5. Maybe 2.5. Because that cussing just, again, I can cuss. I'm a cusser. I am. But to hear it with the baby voices, it was just too much for me. It was just too much. And I just want the kids, like, I wonder, like, the parents. The parents were like, yeah, let Junior go on up there and say motherfucker. Let homegirl get up there and piss in the pool. Let little boys piss in the pool. Let's say fuck you. All of this was there, and then also the 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 coach, he was cussing him out. You full of shit. Ain't nobody. I was like, why you talk? Is that how coaches talk to these babies? See, I have a son and a daughter. My son didn't play sports, and I'm glad he didn't. But I'm like, well, he's still good though. He's good boy. He's in college. He's finished soon. Daughter's grown, teacher. But do the coaches cuss at them kids like that? Cause that was a lot. So I'm done. I'm through. Don't forget to subscribe. Put the bell on. Thumbs up this channel. Thumbs up this video for more videos, reviews, reactions. I just needed to talk this off of my head because it was so fresh in my mind. I might have skipped some scenes. If I did that you felt that was relevant, just drop them into the comments below. And I'll be like, oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah. So yeah, it really blew my hair back. Wig off, pull my edges, everything, all of the colloquialisms that we say, it did all of that and more. But overall, it was a good feel-good movie. It was a good feel-good movie. But as far as that cussing, again, I'm a cusser, but just not from the kids. Have a great day. Love you. Bye.